was a noise from somewhere deep. We heard the sound, it was bittersweet. Voices calling out from an aching heart, getting so much closer by staying apart, singing a song of hope and love that will heal. You heard when I heard, I feel what you feel. We will survive, we will stay strong. Love is the word, and hope is the song. The streets are empty, but the sky is clear. You want somebody and can't have them near, taking shelter where you can when the world is at stake. Alone together, trying hard not to break, singing a song of hope and love that will heal. You heard when I heard, I feel what you feel. We will survive, we will stay strong. Love is the word, and hope is the song. A song for the lonely, the tired and the weary. A song for the broken, the mighty. Can you hear me? Get beyond our pride and greed, share everything that we need. We won't be ignored. We will be restored. Singing a song of hope and love that will heal. You heard when I heard, I feel what you feel. We will survive, we will stay strong, 'cause love is the word, and hope is the song.
It's lunchtime and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the Amp Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free 888-994-4995, Studio A right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
And welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe. Entering our 7th year, I wanna say a couple of things.
Okay.
First of all, I want to thank you guys for watching and listening, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here.
True.
So I want to say thank you. The song of hope that Kendra sings for us at morning shows and the one we just played, still, in my estimation, is one of the best songs ever created during the virus, during Corona. One of the best, because it's the song of hope. And so we're going to change some things around, maybe incorporate that in our ending.
Yep.
So I want to say that. The third thing I want to say is I want to thank our producers. Because I'm going to tell you something. I am the master of push.
Yes.
There ain't nobody better than me at pushing you out of your comfort zone.
And buttons, yeah.
And buttons
You
and
push
everything
everyone's
else.
buttons.
I do. Because if you can think your way out when stress is on you, then you're good at what you do. And I tell them that every day. So I want to thank them for putting up with my nonsense. And I know what I'm doing. A lot of things she got me all figured out. I listen, trust you me, I am the master of push. But I want to thank them. And I also want to thank you. Because the last 7 years, we are here today because of your leadership, your guidance. And I don't think I say thank you enough. And it doesn't matter what the noise is on the outside. I know the truth. I've been doing this longer than everybody in this building. Longer than everybody in this building. I don't care who you are. Bring it. And we sit down and talk about it. But I know the difference between running a business and a business running you. So I want to say thank you. On the air in front of everybody.
Thank you.
Because the bottom line here is that sometimes you forget to say that you count. And today's show, we're going to dedicate that to what we're going to talk about today. Because I think it's time that we start taking ourselves back and
Agreed.
saying you count. And it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks because it's none of your business. Frankly so, right?
True that.
So we're going to open up the show with Miss Brianna.
Brianna Moore. All right, we got to
Brianna
bring her
Moore.
out. Okay.
Let's bring her out here because I want Brianna Moore.
We
to
call her
share
boss
with us.
lady.
No, I call her Bulldog and all sorts of other names. But I got to tell you something. Brianna is one of those rare diamonds that you find in the rough.
She's chewing.
And she's a go-getter. She took an Uber here, came in and got my business card because she must have talked to the Uber driver about what we do. And this kid is amazing. And your father said it before I did. You're amazing. And you're making a believer of all of us every day with some of the things you do. Now, this isn't to cast a shadow on what Slick does or Alana or anybody else. This is just your moment right now because I got to thank you because of what you've shown me that you are capable of doing and then some. So she's going to share a little something with us that happened to her, which I want people to hear.
So we want to set it up a little bit.
Yeah, so this weekend I got the opportunity to do a production shoot, not like this, but like, filming reels for actors and actresses. And funny story, one of the actors, or actually one of my actresses, was one of my cousins. So I haven't seen her since, probably middle school, high school, when her father unfortunately passed away. But it was nice to see her because I knew our paths were eventually cross one day because of her being an actress and then me being in production. So I got to do that, and it was very exciting. It was a lot of work, but I was like, what's next? Let's go. They was like, oh my God, why are you running? I was like, you told me to. They didn't tell me to run, but I was like, okay, we have to hurry up and pack up and go to the next shoot. So it was very interesting to see what I'm going to be doing in a couple years, basically, filming and everything.
But you are the type of person that thrives on more.
Yeah.
That's why she's called Brianna Moore.
There you go. Nice, Freddie. And the more we give you, the more you do.
Yeah.
And the more you open up to do more. And that's
Yeah.
true. God chose wisely when he gave you that last. Well, you chose wisely when you chose your parents, but yes.
Father.
But I kind of believe that they say we choose our parents, right? Our soul chooses where we are going to land in this world.
It's funny because my parents are actually, well, not my parents, but my dad and his dad is all in production. It runs through my veins. So I know eventually I would be doing this.
But you've been here long enough to see what it takes to do production.
Yeah, I know. I
Good
love it.
production.
Yeah.
Work ethic, hard work. And we had a new student in yesterday, and he's still I think he's coming back because he asked me what program he should download from school.
Yeah.
And he looked at you and he said, wow, she's got it going on. Because you came to us from school not knowing any of the stuff that you're doing now.
No, not as much as you guys taught me now. I knew somewhat, I wasn't as good. I couldn't say I was great, but now I could say, okay, I can do a project. I can do this. I couldn't say that before.
No,
So,
and we've seen the growth of what it is. And we have to do evaluations for all of you.
I know.
And they take time. But there's nothing better than doing an evaluation and Freddie and Alana saying, oh, you got to do Breeza. That's an easy one. Because I know I still have to write it, but I know what I'm going to write.
Yeah, I know. I just took, for my final was an interview. I didn't really practice because I knew I can do it. So last day of the interview, I did it, And I was like, I watched over the footage, and I was like, okay, submit, done, easy A.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah, so
And you're great. And the shoot that you got to go on was so nice because we've been working with the company, and the company referred us to one of their clients, and we sent 2 of our other producers on a shoot a couple months ago, and then they, in fact, turned it over to you.
and they're actually hiring me for a June shoot too. So
Congratulations.
It was like, please don't get scared by us. We want to keep you. I know he's kind of crazy because one of the directors, he was, come on guys. I was like,
More than him?
more than him, worse.
See,
Look
I'm
at
normal.
you.
It's funny because he's from New York too.
You're a piece of cake over
He's from
there.
New York.
He actually called me, by the way.
No, he didn't.
He did. He told me not to say anything, but he is very happy with that.
Really?
This is probably why he told me
Really?
not to do it. He's probably one of the 9 that's watching right now. But he said, you were a godsend. Because, in this business, you have to be able to move people around without second guessing. Take that shot, do this. And then it's not always right, but if you have people in place, it's better to have more than less. But he says, thank you. So
Yeah, because they hired me for sound, but I wasn't really doing sound. I was filming. I was
it looked like
behind
you
the
were doing
camera.
everything else, he said.
Yeah, I was. I was doing hair. I was doing makeup. I was doing everything. I was like, Bree, her hair. And I was like, okay, I got it. Hold on, give me a second. So I was literally doing everything, but like the team is great. The people are great. I just love working with them. It was a great experience, and I just can't wait to June to do it again.
It's so great because when I sat down here on set, I thought, you know what makes today so great is that you and I aren't running details. We can actually sit and have a conversation with clients and friends and produce shows and have the conversations with the hosts and know that every detail of the shows are getting taken care of. And that's how you know it's the end of a semester and they move on because that's when we actually sit and breathe until the next crop comes in next month.
Well, you got a lot of talent in studio.
That's what I'm
today.
saying.
You got the ace game in there.
That is exactly what I'm saying.
And it's funny because you get it, and me and her will look at each other and I'll say a word and she'll nod her head because in this game, it isn't everything that's in front of you. It's all the other things that you have to put together as you go along. But she owns it. And she's not afraid to tell you, I own it. And I'm going to tell you, when she first came, I was afraid of her.
Here we go. Yes, you are.
Every
I was scared
time.
to death because I said, this one's sassy, but you got to have a little edge in this game to be able to control the situation.
My dad taught me well. He always taught me you have to show them that you mean business. You're serious.
Well, that's why
As
it's
if-
called a director,
Well, you've never said no, and even if you don't know how to do it,
I get help. Like
you
I-
figure it out.
Yeah.
You never say no.
No.
Alana's like that too. Alana likes angles and she likes it the way she likes it. And she puts on her face with you. She don't get a hell away. Watch out now.
They're the best at what they do. So
And Slick is the opposite.
We're lucky to have you.
He sort of floats. He floats. He says, you want that? No problem. And at the end he says, I told you it wasn't going to work.
You found Slick's love note in the notebook today?
Yes, he did. There's a love note in there to Kenny Love.
Do you watch This Is Us?
No, I see, This Ain't Us. No, I don't watch
Do
it.
you watch This Is Us? No.
What is that?
You do?
I have it on. It's on my DVR, so I haven't
What is it?
watched it.
It's a TV
like
show.
the past 4 episodes.
So the answer
I'm waiting
is no.
for the moment to get into my feels. It's one of those shows.
Yeah.
You have to be in the
My sister-in-law loves that show.
Got to be in the mindset to cry.
mindset to cry,
I
and
don't
that's not me
or,
all
or
the time.
zone out, or one or the other, and watch it.
And
Why-
really sit and pay attention.
Why
Can't do
would
it.
anybody want your show to cry?
Family drama. It gets you in touch with your sensitive side. I don't know.
I've been
but
asking myself that question today.
Maybe we have to change the way we see things.
What do you think, Bree? Not Bree. Bree's going to make tilapia and plantains. She has got it. What are your plans for the summer?
For the summer, I'm going back to Okeechobee. Gonna be there until May 16th, and then I'm coming back here.
Why does it take you so long? Okeechobee
I
is
want
not
to
another
visit
country.
my familia.
She's walking to Okeechobee.
My family.
Walking.
Okeechobee's not that far.
Yes, it
Telling
is.
her.
Okeechobee County.
I told her we go get your car
Yeah.
right now. You
It's
can go on the
only like
weekend.
an hour and a half
Okeechobee
away, right?
Road.
No, Okeechobee County is about an hour, 30 minutes.
That's nothing.
It's my mother's. It's 2 days for my mom. 2 days.
Her mom actually, we got jewelry stuff from her mom, which is really spectacular.
Yes.
And we wear it, and it's really nice. Her mom has a touch.
I know. We all have our own touch. I do painting. She does that.
Oh, you're going to bring your paintings back?
Sure.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. You know, apparently you can put your cologne on those lava stones and
Yeah.
it will absorb the scent.
My mom was just asking about like, oh, does he like it? He hasn't said anything.
I
about
love it. I love it. I
Is he
think
wearing
it's
it?
spectacular. I wear it all the time. And I take it off. I don't sleep with it. It's the first time in my life that I take off my stuff because I don't want to break it.
I wear so many necklaces when I go to sleep. I choke myself as I'm sleeping.
You look like you look like Mrs. T.
I don't take anything off in the middle of the night. I'm like, oh my goodness.
You remember Mr. T?
Yes.
You look like Mrs. T.
I know, but you know, there are people on the NBC networks I see that layer their jewelry as I do now. I think they watch us and they just don't tell us they watch us.
Sure.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Sure.
100%.
You're going to need a session.
So what's next for you, Bree? What is next on your plans? You're working on a commercial right now, but big plans. What do you want to do?
That's a good question.
You want to be a director? You want to run
I
a
wanna
movie? What
do,
do you want to do?
honestly, I want to do a little of everything. That's why I'm putting my foot in television and directing and movies. I want to do a little of everything because it just, my dad told me, always know everything and don't be useless, which I'm not, thank God. So I want to learn everything. And I want to be, at the end of the day, as a director because I saw how it was on the shoot and how his vision came about. And he did a good job. Like, he was like, what do you think of this? I was like, I'm here for sound. I don't know. And then I got into the mindset and I was like, okay, I understand what you're saying. So that's what I eventually want to do.
You did a little of that last Thursday on this shoot that we did also. I heard you were very good at directing.
Oh, Heidi, yeah, I love Heidi. She took direction so well. Like, because when the commercial you sent me, I was like, okay, this is what you want? Okay, I'm going to execute it.
You know, it's all about the trust with a director. A lot of even famous people who have a director they can't work with. You're not going to get a good movie.
It's very hard to work with people. I've seen that, especially with kids, because we do shoots with kids. It's very hard for them to sit still, like, hey, look here. But once the camera starts to roll, they get into character. I was like, are these the same kids? Whose kids are these?
How cool is it that you got to see your cousin, though?
Oh, I know. So it was amazing. I didn't get to like speak with her too much because I was like busy working. But it was nice to see her because I haven't seen her in years. It's been so long.
Wow.
So it was good to catch up for a little while. I rode with her to the shoot because I was like, I'm going to ride with her. I haven't seen her. I was like, yeah, go ahead. So it was good to catch up a little, but I had to go back to work. I couldn't really, socialize as much as I wanted to.
What's the movie about?
It's different short films, as you can say. Some are sci-fi, some are horror, some are drama, some are just like
How many is he working on?
so many.
Is he going to put this at the movies at Del Rey?
I don't know, but I told him that when the footage is done, I would like to play it here, and he said that's okay.
Nice.
So when I know, you'll know.
Fantastic.
So
That's how this whole thing got started, is that they do shorts at the movies of Del Rey.
Oh, okay.
Right,
Very
that's the
nice.
shoot we always
yeah,
do.
he didn't mind of because it's for the actors and the actresses. So they was like, yeah, just you can take the footage and play it whatever you want. I was like, okay,
Very cool.
cool, awesome,
All right. Nice job. Thank you.
thanks.
You can find her here all summer long.
Oh no, I'm just kidding.
We're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Dr. THC in our studio. We're going to talk about some things that are going on as people are coming out of this pandemic and getting reacclimated into life. Everything you said about believing in yourself, bringing you back, and getting rid of the noise on the outside. Give us a call, 888-994-4995, 888-994-4995. Studio A, Dr. THC in the house. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Justin Mooney is special counsel of the Florida office of Hinman, Howard, and Cattell attorneys. Justin's practice focuses on tax, estate planning, guardianship, probate, and trust administration. His passion is to provide clients with sophisticated estate plans which carry out their wishes, reduce any potential taxes, and preserve wealth for future generations. The attorneys of Hinman, Howard, and Cattell provide first-class legal services and have achieved a reputation for excellence for over a century, staying on the leading edge of the law. When you need representation or legal counsel, contact Justin Mooney at 561-276-1008 or jmooney@hhk.com.
Hey everyone, I'm Lady Ashley and this is my husband, Big John.
The muscle behind the hustle.
We are the creators of this very unique party planning business, Lady Ashley Party Planning. We are known for all the details. We specialize in gorgeous balloon decor, floral displays, and handle all of your party planning needs from A to Z.
Please feel free to visit our website at ladyashleypartyplanning.com. Our email is abpartyplanning@yahoo.com, and our phone number is 561-542-2296.
Cool, calm, collected. Needing a drink to end a long day, or maybe to start your vacation right? Gubba Rum is here to let you kick back and do just that. Inspired by a technique that dates back to the 1800s, these artisanal, organic, and naturally infused rums are made from pure cane and the finest fruits, spices, and herbs the world has to offer. Gubba Silver is infused with naturally shredded coconut, and Gubba Gold is infused with real vanilla bean. Simply shake and enjoy. Visit gubbarum.com to find the nearest location to buy or enjoy. All establishments have personally reviewed and enjoyed firsthand the wicked smoothness of Gubba Rum. 35% ABV and 70 proof. Gubba Rum, it's wicked smooth. Planning for the future should not be painful and needs to be discussed. From health, family, finances, allow qualified professionals to aid in your planning. Luhu Advisors have been serving South Florida for over 30 years. A licensed real estate broker, insurance agent, assisted living administrator, and certified senior advisor, Paul Solomon is the most qualified and well-rounded advisor for any task. Specializing in real estate, long-term care, life insurance and annuities, Social Security, government benefits, and senior housing, Luhu Advisors. Let us help you. Welcome to Sunshine Senior Solutions, a trusted medical supply company that puts patients first, offering quality home medical equipment and supplies. Sunshine Senior Solutions is here to help simplify the lives of patients, caregivers, and their families. From canes and crutches to diabetic glucose monitors, your health, safety, and comfort is our #1 priority. Call or visit our website, Sunshine Senior Solutions, bringing the heart back to healthcare.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie.
I like this little car. We never use it.
We just got it. That's why.
We just got it.
Yes.
This is the Boca magazine where our ad is in there. And if you, does it have the page? It does. Hold on a second. If you tell me what page it's on, you get a bag of coffee. I'll give you a bag of coffee. Don't tell the page. But this is very nicely done.
And we'll be coming out in the May-June. That's the April edition. We'll be coming out again in the May-June edition in Boca magazine. And then we'll see whether we go to Delray, stay in Boca, see how the summer rolls out.
See how it rolls out.
So,
yes, it is.
a lot of good stuff. So I'm glad that we have Dr. Hillary Taylor here. Dr. THC is in the house because you do more than working with clients who are coming out of substance abuse. You work with clients that maybe just need some help. And I really think that we all spent a lot of time cohabitating together. And those that we liked to cohabitate with was great. And those that we didn't, we all sort of made some decisions back to the workplace. And then I feel like, Freddie, people have lost their sense of who they are.
That's right. And they fill that void by being who they ain't because somebody else is going to tell them who they are.
Because, at least from my experience, it's hard to be who you are authentically because people don't understand. So I feel like I put up walls, I put up blockades, I set a lot of boundaries when I can. Maybe not even enough, as other people would say, because I do answer texts a lot and do on my phone all the time. But there are certain boundaries to me that I have to set, and business is business. And that's where I'm so glad you're here. This is the word that Freddie dislikes very, very much. This is not a word in Freddie's vocabulary. So herein lies where we're at. But when people come at you and they've got their whole agenda, and everyone has their own agenda, I get that. But if it does not sync or jive with you, how do we handle that as far as boundaries? I want us to do business or personal first?
Are you asking?
Yeah, because boundaries business and boundaries personal are different boundaries.
Are
Where,
they?
well, you tell me.
So, when I think about boundaries, I think about what's okay with me. And that is personal and professional. I think the boundaries are different personally because you let people in a little bit more and a little bit closer. And that's honestly reflecting on my past week. As a psychologist, you learn to have, you're taught how to have really strong, strict boundaries. You don't give of yourself to your clients. You are there for your clients. You are their vessel. You are their shoulder to cry on. You know that you are the therapist and they are your patient or client. And you, in my case, I was able to relate that very easily to my life. Of course, there are people that don't like when you have boundaries. So if you change those boundaries because you've learned something new about yourself and you start establishing those boundaries, people are going to push back and say, you know, that's not nice. What happened to the nice person? You know, why did you change? And really make you question yourself. And then you have to decide if I call it barking your boundaries. And when you first learn how to do it, it might almost sound like you're barking at people.
Oh, wait a minute. All of a sudden, you went from establishing what you believe in to accepting what somebody else thinks you should believe in. So all of a sudden, why question you? Why do I have to question myself?
I think everything makes us question.
Not at all. Why?
You don't question anything. You don't like
Right,
boundaries.
But why? I don't. But boundaries to me is like dancing the cha-cha on ice. Good luck with that, because nobody's going to respect your boundaries. They're going to respect their boundaries if they have any. So you're going to be playing by yourself.
Don't have boundaries.
They don't.
Really?
Most people don't, and most people don't have healthy boundaries. So talk about enmeshed families and the lack of boundaries and how maybe the helicopter, or you call it the crop duster, you know, mother comes in, and when you're a child, you need your mom, you need guidance, you need your parents, you need some kind of older type of relationship to teach you how to do things. And then as you grow, that's supposed to lessen, and you're supposed to let your children blossom and know that you did your job, and what happens now is up to them. And that's a really hard transition.
But with children, isn't it cheating? Because with children, you're supposed to. But when adults meet other adults, there's no supposed to. Now you're living a whole different set of circumstances, and you're getting to know one another, and all this stuff comes out. You know, I don't have time to live another person's insecurities.
But wait, I'm confused. Are we discussing personal romantic boundaries? Are we discussing personal tough love to your kid? All right, you now need to start assuming responsibilities financially. Or are we discussing business boundaries, and at what point do you not answer your phone? At what point business is business? Is it 9 to 5? Is it 12 to 2? Whatever your business is.
But aren't those boundaries, so if you have a grown child
Right.
who continues to call you past the time that you're awake, and you make that okay because it's your child. And so boundaries we start giving excuses to when the behavior, when it's not okay. So when you give excuses to people and you say, oh, well, but they're lonely. Oh, well, but they need something. Look, if you call me before 6 a.m., your house better be on fire. Like I have very strict boundaries when it comes.
She's like, yeah.
I have, when it comes to your phone, especially personal and professional and romantic, you have the ability you are the captain of your ship. You have the ability to answer your phone when you want or not. And that's a lot of what I deal with clients is, oh God, this person's calling me. What do I do? Don't answer.
And what if some of these
Don't answer till you want to.
non-boundaries set off triggers, right? We all have triggers And if somebody's texting or someone's calling you or harassing you in a way that is uncomfortable and it's a trigger for you, do you say to the person, please stop, this is beyond, or do we ignore the behavior? I mean, what's the best way to deal with a behavior?
So I think
we
that
don't
goes
like?
back to what Freddie was talking about. And where do you say, this is your problem, you figure that out, I stop here? Or how kind do you want to be? Can they hear your boundaries? What kind of relationship do you have with this person? If this person is a narcissist, they will not hear your boundaries ever.
Ever.
We cannot change other people. We can only change ourselves. So if this person's interested in having a relationship, the way that I deal with things is, if you're interested in having a relationship with me, this is the way it's going to go. On my terms.
You don't necessarily mean a romantic relationship. Any interaction is a relationship.
Any interaction. Absolutely. Even if it's a romantic relationship, I believe that you teach people how to treat you. So as adults, yes, it's different with children. That is different. But as adults, we meet people who they are today, and they're going to treat me based on their experiences until I tell them, that doesn't work for me. You need to step back. My boundaries are different. And if you want to pursue this relationship, great. It's going to be on these terms. And that's almost taking the emotion out of it, because like Dawn said, people push our buttons and people trigger different things in us, and different things that may come up from our past or from our childhood, wounds that have been closed. It's like pouring salt on the wound, and they will reopen. And that's when our emotions start to overwhelm our boundaries, and we start to question ourselves, and we start to let people push in a little bit. And when people do that to me, I feel it. I feel it in my body. I don't know how other people would explain it, but I feel constricted.
And what do you do when you feel that way?
Claustrophobic. I usually reach out for other people's opinions about the situation, to see, because they're not feeling the feelings that I'm having. So they can see it from kind of that top down looking at something. And instead of being in that courtyard, they can kind of have that drone view and say, okay, I see what's happening. I see the freight train going into the wall at 60 miles an hour. And when you're on the freight train, you can't see the wall.
Do you think men and women have different emotional responses to that?
Absolutely, but I think it's still learned. So I think everybody has just different responses. I think it's a personal thing. I think a woman could have the same strict boundaries as a man, and a man can have the same loose boundaries as a female.
What do you think, Bree? I think you got boundaries.
Oh yeah, of course I do. Of course. It's funny that you say that, because my boyfriend picked one of my boundaries out yesterday. We were in the car and one of his friends were on the phone, and he was like, "Why are you talking like that?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" I changed my voice a little, so they know that, hello, this is Brianna you're talking to now. And he was like, "Why are you talking like that?" I was like, I thought of it as like nothing. But he saw like, "Oh, you're being like different."
You
I was
changed
like,
your delivery.
Yeah, but that's how I.
Did he like it, or did he have a problem with it?
He was wondering who the hell you were.
Yeah, exactly. And that's when he was like, okay. But he understood why I did it. He
I've
didn't have a
seen it.
problem with it.
I've
But he-
seen when she does it. When we're in shoots, she's a whole different person.
Yeah.
It's not a bad
I
thing.
have to be, because people know that, okay, I'm serious, she's serious.
It turns on.
Yeah,
It's not
it
a bad
turns
thing.
on.
Now,
really
I got to
quickly.
tell you, you got a bigger problem. Because I met you first in here. And a plane lands on a runway. And it can land on a beach, which is not a smooth runway, or it can land on a pillow. And unfortunately, you are a landing place for people to come and bring their bags. And my dad used to say to me, you see that dump truck? It's going to land on you. It's going to go like this and throw all the sand on you. It's up to you to get out of its way. If you don't get out of its way, then it's on you. It's a respect thing. You get what you give. because either you get or you get got. It's really simple. Really simple. It isn't, in my world, the reason I don't like boundaries is it gives people an excuse to say, well, I want to tell you how I feel. I should be entitled to tell you how I feel. I'm not entitled to tell you how I feel.
But you're also entitled to say, that's fine, but I don't want to hear it.
Well,
That's
they're
the
going to dump
boundary.
it on you, and the more you push them away, the more that bad fruit going to come at you. Because that's the way people are. You ever have somebody you tell them, I'm not interested, and then they don't leave you alone?
Of course, all the time.
And then what do you
Then
do?
I have to put a stricter voice on. I'm like, excuse me, I told you.
And that's
Back
barking
off.
your boundary.
But then you get my New York. And some people in here don't like my New York because I'm too rough.
Right, and then women start to be referred to as a bitch.
No, I don't go in that direction. I just tell them, you got
You
some.
don't, but people.
Yeah, or they get violent. That's
Other
not the
people
deal.
do, or they get violent, and people don't like boundaries. People don't, for many different reasons. I understand why you don't, the word, but I don't feel like you don't like boundaries. I feel like you have boundaries.
Well, that's our secret. You don't have to tell people that. You're one of the few people that got it. See, because sometimes it isn't what you mean, it's what you say.
Absolutely.
Play on words and everything else. And I believe in questioning everything you say because I want to find out if you really believe in that. And if you don't, it's going to come out. But you have to listen to some of the things you say. Because if you don't do that, then you're being irresponsible. A narcissist never listens to anything except the music that they allegedly think they're hearing.
And that is why therapy does not work with narcissists. There's been a lot of studies about what kinds of therapy is the best therapy. And they have really come to the conclusion that anybody has to embrace change and know that they're not perfect in order for therapy to work. A narcissist, by definition, believes that they're perfect and they don't need help. So the only time a narcissist comes into therapy is when they do something that gets them in trouble. So then you have this antisocial personality, which is like, screw the rules, and I'm better than everybody else, so the rules don't apply to me. And that's when they end up in therapy, but they usually end up in jail because there's...
Before they get to therapy.
Before they get to therapy, and then have to do therapy in jail. And again, there's not a lot of change for something that's like a personality because they have to do some really deep work. Narcissists are narcissists for a reason.
But they don't know they're narcissists.
Or do they?
It's usually an unconscious thing because it stems from really low self-esteem and what we call a narcissistic injury. And there's an injury that happens to their core, and as a defense, they put up this wall of I'm great and I'm better than, and that's just how they defend against this really core issue of really not feeling good about
Now,
themselves.
do you think narcissists, by definition, have this pathological way of trying to make the other person feel smaller? Is that how they make themselves greater?
Yes, 100%. Manipulation is the MO of a narcissist. Now there's more verbiage, there's more vocabulary, being held an emotional hostage. Somebody who says to you, if you don't do this, then I will do this. That's manipulation. That, and I would never say a suicidal thought is to be taken lightly, but somebody who throws it in your face and says, if you don't like this, I will be so sad, I'm going to go hurt myself. That's like a telltale sign of either this person really needs help or this person is manipulating me. This is a very uncomfortable situation. And I used to be the easiest to manipulate because without judgment and just with pure good intentions, I wanted to make everybody happy. So if you don't do this, then you're going to make me unhappy or I'm going to be unhappy. My go-to would be, okay, I'll do this, almost at a cost to myself. So, don't get your nails done. You could spend money on things that, make other people happy and spend instead of $100 on your nails. So oh, okay, now every time I get my nails done, I'm going to feel bad.
That's the trigger.
That's the trick. So now I might not donate the money, but now I'm just not going to get my nails done.
But then you're hurting yourself.
Absolutely.
And you're not helping that person.
And it doesn't happen overnight. And that's the trick.
In the business that you were in, it happens every day. And that doesn't help anybody in the long run. What do you call when you don't have feelings and you do bad things and you don't care?
Antisocial.
No, there's another name, psychological. I saw it on Blue Bloods. This killer went around killing, and it was a female.
A sociopath?
That's it. Sociopath. Has a lot to do with
yes. So the sociopath, the word is explained. The sociopath is the behavior, and the diagnosis is a narcissist and somebody who has narcissistic personality disorder and antisocial personality disorder, because those are both I'm better than, I'm more capable than, everybody else is in my world, I'm the puppet master, and rules don't apply to me.
But do you think they consciously know that? See, here's me believing in the good. They don't really know they're a narcissist.
But maybe the problem is that, because you give them an excuse to do it.
It's not an excuse to do it.
Right.
But it's,
they don't know they're doing it, it's not an excuse?
But it's how do we react back?
So the idea is, okay, so now we're kind of looking at the insanity defense. Do they know what they're doing, right? If you know the difference between right and wrong, then you know what you're doing is wrong.
But then but I love you. You know, I only want what's best for you. So you really shouldn't go get your nails done, and you shouldn't work 7 days a week because I love you. And I know this is not good for your mental health.
Do you know how many movies I see women thrown into wells? And I love you.
But I love you.
Right,
I only want
right.
what's best for you.
Right. So
is that manipulation?
Yes. And when anybody gets manipulated, I believe that if you're connected to your body, you know that there's a body reaction to being manipulated. You either cringe, you have you have goosebumps, you might get nauseous. I get nauseous. You might have anxiety, like something, you feel it, you might not know what it is, but you feel that something's not right. I don't think that all narcissists know that what they're doing. I think that some may and not care. But some do find that the consequence, so it's always the consequence that leads people to getting help, right? Like if there's no consequences to your actions, why change? So it's the consequence of the narcissist's behavior, right? So like if my narcissism starts to become a problem and my relationships suffer and I start to go, oh my God, why are my relationships suffering? Then I might go into, okay, let me ask for help and see what's going on. And I might not acknowledge that I'm a narcissist until it's brought to my attention.
It's so interesting, the help side of it, because in my mind, the narcissist doesn't see the child, I always tell you, the child who puts their finger in a socket, the consequence is they will get shocked. They should not do that behavior again. So if you don't have consequences to your behaviors, then the behaviors perpetuate.
Right, if you put your hand in the socket and nothing happened.
Right.
Yeah, but at 50 years of age, you should know better than to stick your hand in a freaking socket. You know, I'm going to tell you.
But now we're talking about common sense.
But if somebody does a behavior to you, if you're in a narcissistic relationship and you don't like what they do, but the next day you go back and they do it again and again and again, they either wear you down to the point where you really have no self-esteem left, or there should be a consequence, or number one, they will never learn, and number two, you stay in an abusive narcissistic relationship. And abuse can be emotional.
100%. And that's why we talk about cycles and the domestic violence cycle, and how, you know, there's a period where everything's okay. And you're like, oh, this is the person I fell in love with.
I'll never do this again.
This is great. They'll never do this again. Everything's fine. And then something happens. You start to walk on eggshells. And then something else happens. And then something blows up. And then the next day you get flowers and I'm sorry and this will never happen again. So if you don't leave what are the consequences?
I was going to ask you, whose responsibility is it at that point? Is it you as, I don't want to say a victim because we have choice to be a victim. Is it you as the one who's receiving the behaviors, or is it the person who is the abuser?
Well, again, is the abuser going to change?
No.
Not without knowing.
You have
What do you think?
three chances. You mess up those 3 chances, goodbye.
You're giving them 3.
You know, you're
Three
talking
chances.
about DNA. You're talking about
She gives them,
upstairs.
have you ever been in a narcissistic relationship?
Not really narcissist, but like I've seen like, oh, I won't do it again. I'm sorry, da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, that's strike 1, strike 2, and you're out. 3, goodbye.
You see, but you're trying to have reasonable logic with the illogical. And the problem here is if you're going to do that, then it's on you. If you're going to open the door and let somebody spit in your face, then you wipe it clean and you go again. When I was in auxiliary,
What do you mean? You wipe it clean and go until
because
when?
that's what happens.
Until when
When
do
I
you
was an
stop?
auxiliary cop, they taught us that there are going to be domestic situations, and when you take the husband away who's beating this woman to death, she's going to attack you because she has to defend her man.
And the scariest situation for police officers are domestic violence.
Absolutely.
situations.
They used to send us in first, the auxiliaries, to sort of separate this deal, and then the cops came in. But the bottom line here is, at the end of the day, if you say it's okay to beat up on me, you're going to get beat up on. I mean, I don't understand the logic and the illogical. You know, a hand to face hurts.
Because people become codependents.
But that's doesn't
And they
make-
didn't start hitting you. That's not how the
Oh, no.
relationship starts.
It builds up to it.
Right. So you may not see it coming. And I
Well,
tell
the moment
people
you do, Doc, what do you do?
there are warning signs. There are warning signs. There's controlling warning signs. There's constant, I need to know what's going on in your life. I need to know who you're talking to, where you are, who's talking to you, why is that person calling you, why are you calling that person, what are you doing with this? It's a very controlling, it starts as a controlling mechanism. And slowly, that's the way they get you away from your friends and away from your family, and then you have nobody else. So when they hurt you, who are you going to call? You have nobody at this point. So they've isolated you, and that's part of the grooming.
Divide and conquer.
And absolutely,
Wow, I'm learning so much.
that's the art of war, right? That's how I'm going to win. And whether they know that they're doing it consciously or not, I don't think matters. I don't really, I don't promote victimizing people, but if you're in any situation that you're not comfortable with, there's always a way out. There is absolutely always a way out. There are strangers that if you don't feel like you have anybody, there are strangers that will come help you. There are hotlines. There is so much, and even before, the Me Too movement, but after the Me Too movement, there's so much for women's rights, for men's rights. Look what's going on right now with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. I don't even want to get into, but there's so much toxicity in that relationship. How it even got to this point is beyond me. Why don't people walk away? People do crazy things for love.
But then
I
I
am
think
definitely guilty.
maybe it's
of
not
that.
always love, maybe it's codependency.
And it's a fear of being alone. Absolutely.
That's the biggest one right there.
Absolutely. I mean, oh my God, if you leave me, I'm going to have nobody. Well, that's why I preach self-love. Because I can be alone and I am not lonely. I entertain myself. I make myself laugh. Yes, I talk to my dog. I sing. I play music in the house. Those things, those habits are going to be why I never enter into a codependent relationship. Because once I start seeing that those parts of myself dwindle away, those are signs to me. Wait, I'm not doing what I like anymore. I'm not singing in the house anymore. You can't watch it's almost like being a prisoner in your own home. And if people are listening, they know what that feels like. They know it's uncomfortable, and it's the most lonely feeling, but to know that you can get through it and you don't need somebody else to fall into. You don't need a relationship to what's the word?
Feel validated?
Feel validated or to bounce back or, like a rebound. That's the word I was
Well, a
looking for.
relationship is not going to dictate who you are. If you're in a room and there's nobody here, Okay, you're in a room. There's nobody here. That's called self-improvement. You put on music, you have fun.
But not
If-
everybody can do that.
Of course, everybody could do it. See, the excuse here is that not everybody could do it. There is the gap. When you have gap, people live in the gap.
I
Now,
believe that everybody can do it, but
Can.
not everybody
choose
is
to.
able to do it.
Some people don't have the confidence to.
But that's a different animal. I'm saying we have all the same ability
Yes.
to do.
Yes.
That you don't have the confidence, it's really simple. You know, it isn't that I talk to kids and tell them not to get married. There's a lot of pressure on them right now. More so than ever in the history of this country right now.
Sure.
And it's a business. I keep telling you that. You're going to get married, it's a business.
Yep.
There's a pro and a con, a give and a take. And if you don't believe me, get married. That's what I tell Aaron. But the bottom line is this. Somebody's got to make an adjustment in that relationship. And if you ain't willing to write the word adjustment, don't get married. Because somebody's a give and take. Today I take, today I give. But
But that's
nobody,
a compromise.
No, it's not even compromise, it's adjustments. Because sometimes, even though you're wrong, I'm going to say you're right. Simply because there's no end to this thing in sight.
But until that behavior perpetuates, because they haven't learned the consequence that their behavior,
I'm not saying that it's
Upsets
permanent. First of all, you explain how you are upset. And if you look at their reaction, body English
and
will
what if they
tell
do
you.
it again?
Of
2
course
days
they're going
later.
to do it again. Who's not going to do it again? You take off your shoes, you're not going to do it again. It's the same difference. You're going to continue to do it again and again
Until when?
until either you say, I got enough, and you leave. Then we're back to the confidence thing. Or you say, okay, I'm going to switch the script on you. I'm going to treat you how you treat me, see if you like it.
Okay, so how does that usually end up?
You tell me. I've been divorced twice. Not so good.
And here's where I hate to
But
do
it doesn't-
this,
but it doesn't
it's
change
different
me.
from a man and a woman.
Absolutely.
Because a man can say, I feel easier to say, okay, let's change the script. You're not going to abuse me anymore.
And the woman does it every day.
And a
Be
woman
careful.
might feel
Every day.
that they can't do
You know
it.
what I love about women? That they are the most clever creatures on the planet. Because they can make it, they can flip that script, and you don't know it until you look around and says, wow, what happened?
I don't think that's true. I think
Oh.
I think it's a narcissist
some
male
women.
or woman can flip the script.
Women are a lot more brighter than men. Men
Well, thank you.
don't see when women flip the script on them.
But
It
what
depends
if
on
a woman
delivery.
is not flipping the script? What
she
if
is.
you're talking
I ain't
about
met one yet.
you
And I'm
must
60 years old. I ain't met one
you
yet.
must meet very confident women.
I do. And you know something? One of the things I like about the women I've met is they are very confident.
And
there ain't
that's why
nothing
they're
wrong with
able to
that.
flip the script.
That's okay. If
But-
the script makes sense, then flip it. But if
But-
it don't make sense,
Maybe, but not everyone's confident.
Right.
well, then that's not
So
a flip
you
script. That's
see
just
the
a bad
confident
plan.
ones. I don't.
Right. Now
That's
think
why
about
they
her
come to
clients.
you because
That's why they come to
don't.
me. Right. So in my professional life, I see the women that don't have the confidence to flip the script and sometimes don't have the confidence to walk away. And even without the relationship, the confidence to stand up for themselves with, growing adolescence, the confidence to stand up for themselves, the confidence to say, this is who I am, the confidence to say, I'm deserving, I'm worthy, I am love, I give what I want to receive.
But that's a good beginning, Doc.
Of course it is.
That in the mirror. Just do that every day.
And I tell people, write on your mirror with either lipstick or a dry erase, I am,
And it will get
and
there.
whatever it is you're trying to achieve, because some of us need a reminder. Some of us need a cheerleader, and that's what I do. I'm that reminder, I'm that cheerleader until my clients can do it themselves, which is part of why I love my job, because my clients get better. Doesn't work out so well for me.
But you see, that's the other part of this thing, because you're absorbing the negative. It should work out better for you because you created a positive atmosphere.
It does work out
Forget
better
about
for
the
me.
rest.
And I'm not worried about the rest, and that's why I love what I do.
That's right.
But my clients fall off because they get
They get
better.
better.
That's the point of what I do. I love that.
You want less clients because you're healing.
Right. I'm
Do you
healing.
think-
I'm doing it.
There's different stages in people's lives, age milestones, where you finally say, I'm willing to take it, but I can't anymore because I've hit this.
I
And then I've
don't
hit
think
this.
it's an age. I think it's an experience. So I had a roommate for 2 months who relapsed in my house, who stole from me, who was on top of LA Fitness, calling me, telling me to come get him because the cops were chasing him. I mean, crazy. And in 2 months, no matter how old I was, I said, no longer will I ever let anybody live in my house that I don't know. Things change based on experience. So if I had experienced that today, I think my experience would be the same. I almost wish I had experienced that 10 years ago, and I may have had less crappy roommates. But at this point, this is the end. And I think sometimes people need to have chances, to give the one chance, the two chance. Like, what's the time? I don't know if there's a time limit.
But that works for
in between those.
her because she's a different you. Because you have bumps and bruises in your past, that isn't going to work for you. And I keep telling you the same thing. Put on a sweater, meet people, don't fall in love, don't even use the L word. Find out who people are. But the most important person you should find out who they are is yourself, man. Find out who you are and what you want. And by the word want, define want. Write it out that you can read it. After you do that, then you're ready to talk to other people.
How many people know what they want?
Everybody does. They just ain't acknowledging it. I gotta tell you, I don't make excuses for people. I don't. I think that every kid that comes in here from a university is the best at what they do. You start here and you fall here. It ain't the other way around. It's this way. And I've been proven right 98% of the time because these kids have all moved on to. I've met people who wanted to kill themselves in my presence, not in this studio, in the other studio. And I used to say to them, do you use a gun because a rope takes longer?
Yeah, but we had one that we lost.
That wasn't on my, yes, that was on my watch. We lost that because she was new and she had called that night and I didn't pick up the phone and she was dead by 6 o'clock in the morning. So I will answer the phone. I don't care what time, except for Cole. I don't care what time it is. I answer the phone now because I ain't going to let that ever happen again. That hurt.
But
And
that wasn't your fault.
It's not about fault. I should have picked up the phone because I probably could have gone to get her. And I didn't do that. I did not do that.
And could this person have called somebody else?
Maybe she did. But she
So why
called-
was it all
Because
on
all I
you?
worry about is that she called me. And I'm never going to let that happen again. So it doesn't matter what time. They can call me at 6. My son has called me at 6 in the morning.
So we're not going to have a therapy session, but I remember you telling me about your friend.
About her?
No.
About Freddie Barrios in Puerto Rico? He killed himself in
Yes.
the car?
Yes.
That was tough too.
Yes.
And I didn't answer, but I was in high school.
So, but I feel like you take on a lot of I should have answered.
Well, you know something?
How am I supposed to know?
There's a lot of people that I should answer, so now I do. Because there was a lot of times in my life that I called and nobody answered. And there's some tough times in my life as well. I'm not perfect. But now I answer the phone, and I will be there. And I will pick you up at whatever time it takes. Because I do believe that everybody's worth that phone call. So I don't worry about it. And sometimes they just want to hear your voice because they have a sore spot to land.
I agree. And at the same time, my boundary is a little bit different.
Of course.
I have gone to a McDonald's with Narcan and had to Narcan people. And I'll tell you, when they wake up, they're not happy to see your face. So I don't answer the phone between 11 and 6.
I'm going to give you a pair of handcuffs because you got to handcuff them before you wake them. Been there, done that. The bottom line is the method is different for everybody. But in my world, if you call, I'm going to answer the phone. Now, my sons will tell you I don't answer the phone. They call me during production, and I text, are you okay? And they tell me, yeah, I want to talk to you. If you're okay, give me the okay, and I'll call you when I'm done.
That's funny. My mother
I sneezed on the
Bless
tree.
you.
Thank you.
My mother has always been very concerned about my well-being, living 1,000 miles away. and even next door, pretty much, it's, are you okay? Are you okay? And I would get to this point with her, speaking of boundaries, which I would say, do you just want to hear me breathe? Like, what is your...
My mom's the same way.
I just talked to you. I have nothing to tell you about.
Nothing. It's just still
They
close.
created many different... there are so many different ways to do this, but there is a little light. It's an LED light that I have in my house. I have one and she has one. And if I touch it, it lights up. And whatever color it lights up at my house, it lights up at their house.
Oh, that's cute.
So they know I'm okay, I'm breathing, and you don't have to call me.
I need to get that.
And then they can touch it also on their end, and it lights up on my side, whatever color they have. And it's like, oh, good, they saw it. So it's kind of like I love you, I'm thinking about you, I'm okay, without needing to call you or text you or have this, what is there to talk about? I just talked
Let
to
me
you
ask
yesterday.
you a question. Your mom gave you birth?
She did.
Your mom gave you birth?
Yeah.
Your mom gave you? I used to go see my mother, and I used to dance with her for no reason, because I miss mom now. See, I don't have that, and I'd rather have mom in my pocket, making sure, because when you give birth, a piece of you leaves, and that's what she's missing. So I would dance with my mom in the middle of the day, and my sister would tell you, Freddie's crazy. I'm very crazy, because family is family, and I'd rather have a mom that constantly says that you eat, are you okay, where are you, than one that doesn't. Because I'm going to tell
Absolutely.
you, when she leaves, when they go,
I
You
agree
miss
with you. I am so grateful and so blessed.
I will dance with your mom.
She's
definitely
probably
want to.
listening
He'll
to this
dance with your mom,
crying.
too.
I
She's
will
gonna
dance,
come in.
I will dance with any
I will
mother.
dance with my mom, and I will have hour-long conversations with my
Yeah,
mom.
I talk to my mom, but it's just that she calls me at weird hours.
That's okay.
7 in the morning. I'm not up, Mom. Why
Listen,
would you call me?
I'm 60
It's
years.
about having a relationship that's healthy, respecting both parties as adults, and not feeling like a child, and behaving in a way that even though I will always be my mother's baby, I can relate to her as an adult. And I think that breeds respect. And also, her anxiety is a little bit lessened when I act like an adult, because she's like, oh, wow. Even, I'll tell you, they've heard me on some of these shows, and their comments are hysterical. Oh my gosh, Hillary, you sounded so professional.
But that's okay.
Well,
that's mom.
I hope so.
But that's mom. You can't base it on what you feel. You got to base it
course.
on mom. When I see her mother, I call her mom. And she says, how you doing, son? Because she knows what I'm feeling. You see, when your mother gave you birth, a piece of her left. And until you don't have children, do you? Until you do, you don't know what that feels like. You see, men are jealous of
dog.
women.
I don't feel like a piece of me left
Yes,
when
you
I
do.
had kids.
Let's not go there. I'm going to tell you something. Don't go there unless you want me to bring up this thing with Aaron and the
I don't feel
wedding
like they
and
left.
your daughter. Yes, you do.
You just
because
have-
you are constantly, are you okay? And when they cry, you cry. Don't give me that.
It's the umbilical cord that never
Let's
leaves.
not go there.
So it's
a
not
piece
like
of
they
you.
left. It is an attachment that you will forever have
Yes.
with this child that you gave
Oh,
birth
okay.
to.
So let's change the definition. And they left, and you have the attachment.
Yes.
Whatever
Same
you want to
thing.
call
My
it.
mom
it is-
actually, she cried when she dropped me off to FAU. She
Of
was,
course they
she
do.
was
Oh my
like,
gosh.
I was like, Mom, I'm like an hour away. She's like, you're not gonna be in the house anymore.
Yep. I had the same thing. I had the
that's
same thing
normal.
at camp. I had
Yeah.
the same thing at college.
When my sister moved out with her husband, she took it really hard.
My sister and my mother had a relationship that when my mother died, I did not allow my sister to go to Puerto Rico to bury her. It was during the hurricane, and I said, I don't want you to come. She said, why? Because you're not going to be able to get through it. And she stayed, and I sent her the video and all that. My father, she came, but for my mother, it was too emotional, because that, I could tell that my sister had a bond with my mother and father that I wish I had. And I got to tell you, men are jealous of women because we can't give birth. And I would love a guy to come up here and tell me that ain't true. That's BS.
Do you know-
I think that's changing.
You said that, and I thought, I've never heard such a thing. You said it on the show last week, and there was a dad in the studio, and he did not refute that. And I thought, really?
He walked up and said, "You're 100% right."
I am floored in all of my years.
I'm surprised
if I
too
ever-
because I don't.
Never.
Why would you want to give whatever?
Why? Because it's the gift of God. And sometimes people want to know what that gift feels like. You know, you guys don't give yourself enough credit. Just don't, because you're able to do something that no man on this planet can do, no matter what they think they could do. No matter how they treat you, no man can do this.
We can't be standing up.
Yes, you can. It just gets messy. But that ain't the deal. Birth is giving life. There's only one way of doing that right now. I mean, they have cells and all that, I understand. But there's no man making children. And that has always put women here and men here because they think they're superior. And that's just a bunch of bull. I got to tell you, my sister, I love to death. But when she showed me how she treated my mom and dad, my sister sacrificed her life for my parents. So when my parents came to live with me a little while down here, she called 3 times a day. My sister still talks to my mom.
I guarantee you that when that time comes, I will be the one calling my parents 3 times a day. That's the relationship.
You
we
bring
have.
your mom here, I will dance with your mom. I will make her a queen because I'm going to tell you something. It ain't easy
She is.
being a mom. I'm telling you, a guy, different world. A mom, I'm jealous. I tell you right up the front, when Michelle gave birth to my 2 boys, I said, this is unfreaking believable. I can't do this. No matter what I try, no matter how hard I try, I can't do that.
I don't think most men think like you.
Yes, they do. They just don't admit it.
My dad, it's so funny that you say that because my dad, when I first moved down here, he was calling me constantly. Calling me at 6 a.m. because I wasn't moving. Like, he had me, like, track on iPhone. He's like, you weren't moving. I was like, I'm sleeping. He's like, oh, okay, I was just making sure. I had a bad dream. I was like, good night. And I got used to living down here and everything like that. Stop calling me. He does not
Because
call
now
me.
he's used to it. But you know, there will come a day, wait till you get married, and your dad will be calling you 100 times a day.
My mom calls me at least 7 times
But there
a
are
day.
different boundaries that we set with parents.
Oh yeah, no one can
siblings.
contact me between the hours in 12 a.m. to 9.
Partners that call, you know, if you're working and your partner calls you all day long. To me, I feel like they don't value what you're doing because
How
they
can you
know
work
you are
and
working.
be on the phone at the same time?
How
But their
can you
mom
be productive?
and
I'm not
dad.
talking about moms and dads. I'm talking moms and dads are different.
They get a
I'm
pie.
talking about partners, spouses, people we cohabitate with.
And I think we allow our boundaries to be different. I think, you know, when you're in that honeymoon stage, there are couples that want to talk to each other 100 times a day. And then at what point does that change? And
When you
is
get
that-
in the hunt. When you get in the hunt, don't
Honestly-
interfere while I'm in the hunt.
But then you've got, no, when you're married and I want to talk all the time, and then you've got your kids and your kids become priority, heaven forbid there's an emergency, then yes, you drop everything for that.
You want to get a mic and sit and join the conversation?
He and his
be a
mom.
woman.
Let's put you
No,
on
no,
three.
like no, you don't
Are
have
you
to put me on
jealous of
through.
women too?
No, it's just
You don't have a baby?
that one point that you point up about like partners calling you, not taking your job serious. Because I know I dealt with that because I'm like, yeah, I'm at a studio, or yeah, I'm at Intercom.
Or they call
What do
you all
you
the
need?
time.
Oh, I just wanted to say hi to you. No texting. Like I couldn't have a phone. I got in trouble every time she texted me. Like she was that possessive. Yeah.
Well, she was just insecure.
And there are some
Insecure
jobs that
about
will
what?
not
But
let
that's
you
an
look at your
excuse for
phone.
the other person.
That is. I got in trouble for her, for calling me, for texting me. Like,
If you say the other person is that insecure, he's not. He's walking
Get him
that
another
way.
mic. Slick, why don't you join? I'd like to hear more about this.
It's funny that you say that because my boyfriend knows where I'm at right now. He knows. And he does not contact me. He was like, okay, just let me know when you're ready to
He
get picked
respects
up.
what you're doing.
Yeah, and then I respect because he works nights and I'm up during the day. So he's sleeping right now. I wouldn't call him. He's sleeping, you know?
That's mutual respect.
Yeah, why would I call him? I know he's sleeping, and he knows that I'm here. Why would he call me?
But you see, there's the difference. At least you understand that respect. My ex-wife, she did not talk to her parents. I found her living in the weirdest places. I got her an apartment, I got her furniture, I gave her the keys, and I said, okay, good luck. She says, wait a minute, you're not moving in? I says, no, that was never the plan. When her mother found out that I did that, she sent for her daughter, moved her into the house. I was out $8,000 on this deal.
Were you married or divorced at this
No,
point?
I wasn't anything. I was divorced from my first wife.
Oh, this is okay.
But I did it as a friend. Her mother and father, I got them back together again. Not loving, but as a family, because the first Christmas, we're all sitting in my new house, and everybody's like, wow, this is really weird, because they hadn't talked to each other for years. It was
But this
her
is a
with-
spouse. If you were working, doing what you did in New York, and you brought in a lot of money, and she called you all day long, and you're like, Michelle, I gotta go, I gotta work. At some point, you say, you gotta respect what I'm doing, and I will call you when I can.
Well,
but I can't do this all day long.
It used to happen because I used to own buildings. So when you own buildings, you got a lot of downtime. You go, you clean the building, you talk to your tenants, you make sure they're not making a ruckus. And I used to make a lot of buildings, a lot of money because I had a lot of buildings. Michelle, to this day, does not know where my buildings were.
But did she call you all day long?
No.
That's my point.
She let me work.
That's my point.
But sometimes I used to wish that she would call
Oh my gosh.
because
It's the
I
men
have
ego.
Imagine putting him in a session.
But hold on a
You
second.
can't have it both ways.
But let me tell you, I can. Because I wanted to build an empire. And I was just bringing home money. And it's what I call dead-end money. Because you're not helping me build it. You're not helping me create it. That you don't know where my buildings are? Really? I even took my boys with me and showed them the buildings. They knew where the buildings were.
Did you show her the buildings? Did you take her?
I said, come on, let's go see my building. Nope.
So she didn't care.
She did not want anything to do with what I was doing.
I mean,
How
maybe
did that relationship work out for
We
you?
got divorced. But we got divorced for
I mean-
a whole bunch of other reasons. But you want to build something with people that means something to the two of you. That you make adjustments, some things she didn't like, some things she did like. I remember one day I was in the living room and I had all the bank statements and everything else because I wanted to add up what our net worth was. And she walked in and she said, what's that? I said, that's our net worth. What? She could not believe the number. I said, you want to go see the buildings now? She said, no. I mean, really? Really? Even there? So I said, I already knew what was going to happen tomorrow. So now I make adjustments to make it work today.
But what if you had asked for what you wanted?
I did. She
Like,
stayed home
please
with the
call
kids for
me.
the first 2 weeks with Freddie. And she was bouncing off the walls. I said, you need a job because this ain't going to work. So I took care of the kids and I went to work at night. I fed the kids at night when they came along because she needed to sleep. Michelle had a lot of attitude, but that's what I liked about her, is that she had a lot of attitude. Tough broad. Michelle was a tough broad, and Freddie will tell you, Jay will tell you. But at the end of the day, we had a mission to get to where we were going to go. I was the first Latino in my family that owned a house. Then I owned 2. Then I owned 40. There's a big difference when you own 2 or 40 than when you own 1. And I had to manage all of this. They used to buy me the weirdest things for Christmas. Snow blowers. A truck to go to the buildings. I used to be at buildings at 3 o'clock in the morning because the boiler broke. So time to me is insignificant. It's just when you wake up after you go to sleep. That's it. But if you want things in life, man, you got to go get it.
Well, to your point, you got to ask for what you want.
You got to ask for what
Then you got to
want.
be willing
Absolutely.
to do it.
And yes, absolutely.
There ain't no
It's not easy.
freebies. And there ain't no freebies in life. And you got to get up after you worked hard and you know you're dragging. And you get up and says, man, I can't believe how much. I
And
hurt."
going back to being a mom,
Oh, she likes that.
when I think about, I mean, one of the reasons why I choose not to have children is because I can't imagine how hard it is to have children, have a job, come home, have responsibilities, have a husband potential. I mean, it is not easy to raise children. So I can appreciate the fact that you acknowledge how hard it is.
It is hard.
I don't know if that's something that other people look at or men look at and say, I want
I'm
that,
saying.
because I
don't
look
think
at
like you
and
do.
say, I don't know if I have that. I know I'm strong. I know I'm really strong, but I get exhausted. My job is exhausting.
But you know more now. If you
Yes.
knew then what you know now,
Totally
which is
different.
why women have children younger.
yes.
Because what we know in 40s and 50s, you go, how did I look back and I think, I did this at 25 and
that's
27?
when I look back at, where I am now compared to where my mother is, or my mother was at my age. She had grown children already. I have friends with grown children, and I'm like, oh my God.
My daughter's going to be 30,
You have
God
to
willing,
get
next
up
week.
and go to work regardless of how you feel. You have to get up and make us lunch and dinner regardless. I don't remember my mother being sick, ever.
Yeah.
There were no complaints. It was just, I didn't feel like we lacked in any way of love, attention, of my mom being
So I have
around.
an idea. Next week is Mother's Day.
It is.
Each
It
of you guys
is.
bring your moms in.
I can ask her.
Let's do a day. I know you're leaving, Bree, so maybe before you leave, maybe your mom will pick you up.
Oh, yeah, she is picking me up actually.
So you'd let us know the day she's picking you up. We'll coordinate it with your mom.
Sure.
I will invite
That means that your mom
my
has
mom.
to come.
And anyone else in the studio, Slick, you can bring your mom a lot. Let's pick a day,
Okay.
and we do Mother's Day here, and we honor your mom here at the same time.
Very cool.
How about
I'm all
that?
I'm all in for
So
that.
we'll coordinate a day
love
next
that.
week, and we'll do a Mom's Day.
Because in life, it ain't easy. It's about how you do it.
My
You
mom.
know, I learned how to cook because somebody had to cook dinner. So my mother gave me cookbooks, and Michelle told me, I used to say, what is a quarter of an inch? So they bought me those little spoons that have to
Yeah.
measure stuff. And my mother says, no,
Measuring
you put
spoons?
a pinch, and you put a pinch. I go, a pinch? What the hell is that? But I learned how to cook, right? So then my kids started to ask for certain meals. I said, wow, I'm at the promised land here because they must like it. So we used to have fun. Everything that surrounded, including schoolwork, was fun. And I had a big, big table like we have in there.
beautiful.
And I got 5 kids in there, and 2 were mine, the other 3 weren't. Because Freddie was home, so Freddie got to watch 5 kids grow up, Frankie and Mata and all those kids. And I'm gonna tell you, those kids grew up right. Mata he was a pitcher for the Phillies. You got to meet him. And now he's doing some fantastic, he's a teacher now. And Frankie is Frankie doing his thing, you know, my kids. And Shulas is whatever he's doing. But the bottom line here is, if you make it fun because you believe in it and you believe in them, you install that in them, and you bring the greatness, the positive, because outside that door is nothing but negative. And if you don't buy that, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to tell you. This is a short script on especially what's going on today.
I don't know how we went from here to here, but we did. How do people reach you, Doc?
You can always reach me on my phone. I do all of my sessions mental health. The number is 561-285-2815. So 561-285-2815. Also my website, www.drthc.net. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. I will get back to you. I text all the time. That's how my clients get back to me. And I mean, my phone's been going off the whole time, and
see
they
the
know.
light.
They know. I'll get back to you when I can.
I see the light.
And that's
Your
that's
phone
what
is
I
going
do.
like this.
Yep, all day long.
Before we wrap it up, top 3 things that you would tell someone that needs help. Or
Ask
may not know they need help.
ask for help, even if you don't know you need it. Sometimes we don't. Do I need help? This is what's going on. Do what makes you happy. I'm a big advocate for get in touch with your soul and what lights your soul on fire, whether it's music, meditation, dancing. Just do what makes you happy. And surround yourself by love, by loving people that care about you, people that want to see the best for you.
And if you ever need help, reach out. There are many, many hotlines. Call Dr. Hillary. Call us. Freddie's always going to answer his phone, even at 4:23 in the morning.
Yes.
Anytime you need help, just reach out. There's always someone to help you in the crisis time. And you'll be joining us soon. Next week, we'll let you know when we're doing our Mother's Day show. It'll be before Friday because you guys won't be here next Friday. So one day earlier next week, let's put it together.
When is Mother's Day? Sunday?
Next Sunday.
Tough day. That's a tough day.
So let's do it earlier in the week. We'll maybe Wednesday or Thursday. All right. Have a great day, everyone. We are off to another shoot, which I'm very excited about. A new artist coming in. NFTs, artwork, pop art, some new color in the studio. You'll have to come by and check it out because everything that you see surrounding you is for sale. We'll show you all the new art tomorrow. Have a great afternoon, everyone. We're here late tonight. We've got some great shows. You have Ask the Experts. We've got Tap with Alana, where she has a little girl coming in who is an author and also is here to save the penguins. And then we have Living Life Well with Gina Bella. So full night here at the studio.
Full night.
Have a great afternoon, and we will see you a little bit later.
Don't be late.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show's over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show.
In the cold and sleepless nights, I wait for you to bring me back to life. In my electric eyes, it doesn't mean that time can thicken every single breath. I want to unfreeze my heart and fly away. That's why I wanna save her. Your moons and craters. Open up my eyes, waterfalls of ice, sweeping me away like an avalanche. Helpless as I fall, the words can't say it all. Sweeping me away like an avalanche, like an avalanche. I listen for a sound, waiting deep inside my maze of sweeping thrills and colors. Just a ray of light, bathing me in drops of ink that gleams across my body. Wish you could unfreeze my heart and